Hey guys, Curtis Alexander. I'm a pharmacist. In this video, I'm going to be talking about if you have thyroid problems, if you have thyroid symptoms, you need to look beyond just getting your TSH, your thyroid stimulating hormone, measured. And I want to show you why. So I had a viewer question, and basically it's along these lines. The viewer felt terrible, a lot of low thyroid symptoms, the weight gain, the poor sleep, the sluggishness, always cold, those sorts of things. She went to the doctor measured her TSH. The TSH was normal. However, her T4 came in elevated. T4 was high. She had the hypothyroid symptoms. She asked her doctor, well, would it make sense to give me T3 if I have the hypothyroid symptoms? And the doctor's response basically was, your TSH is normal, so I don't think that's the right thing to do. Now, it's not judging anybody's decision, but I want to point out what might be going on here. Now, the one thing I don't know is what this person's stress levels were like, because stress is going to play a huge role in this, and I want to explain why. So when you have stress in your life, now that stress could be psychological, it could be physiological, it could be physical. It doesn't matter where the stress is coming from, but when it happens, and I'll link to a study that shows this, the uptake of T4 into the cell goes down. So you're not getting T4 into the cell at the same rate you were if you weren't stressed. Now, what does that tell the body? When T4 is not getting into the cell, it stays in the blood where we measure it. That tells us, okay, your T4 is high. And as those T4 remains high, it tells your TSH, hey, you don't need to stimulate anymore. We've got plenty of T4. So I think that it's one potential reason why the TSH may be normal and the T4 is high, but we still have low thyroid symptoms because it's not getting into the cell to be converted to T3. Okay. Now, there's also another thing to think about. Your TSH comes from your pituitary hormone. In the base of your brain, it reads these things. And what happens is your pituitary gland has different transporters than every other tissue in your body. And what that means is that it can actually sustain pretty solid T3 levels versus the other tissues in the body that aren't getting as much T3 because it's not getting into the cell, it's not getting converted. So the pituitary reads it still as an okay situation. Now, is this absolutely what's going on? I don't know. It's a plausible, it's a likely thing. So what should she do? Here's the first thing is she has to request, you should never, ever, ever diagnose any sort of thyroid, good or bad, without getting an entire picture from your thyroid. You cannot rely on just the TSH. I would request full thyroid panel. That means T4, free T4, T3, free T3, reverse T3. You still want the TSH in there. You want your antithyroid thyroglobulin, your antithyroid peroxidase. These are the antibodies that can basically attack the thyroid that we see in Hashimoto's. So you want to get those. You may even want to get sex hormone binding globulin. There's a whole slew of tests you want to get. You also want to measure your morning basal temperature, your pulse rate. Once you have that information, then you can start piecing together what might be going on. But at the end of the day, if you're having low thyroid symptoms, even if your TSH is normal, that doesn't mean that you have good function. That's the point here I'm trying to make, is that it can be misleading. Okay. If you have any sort of similar stories about your TSH levels and just relying on that, please let me know in the comments. I find that it's very common, and that we have too many people relying just on their TSH to figure out what's going on with their thyroid. It leads to other problems down the road. So let me know. I hope this video was helpful, you guys. I will see you in the next one. Thank you.